And now, ladies and gentlemen, Don't Tell Mama is proud to present the award-winning Seth Rudetsky's Broadway Chatterbox!
I'm trying to do a Spring Awakening crazy breast expose, but I had to say that for Lea. So yeah, thanks for coming back to the Chatterbox. Sorry I could not do last week, but we were in tech for maybe 7 days. Anybody 70s? If you guys like my 70s wig, what's happening, hairstyle, I've not cut it in 4 months, and it's crazy looking. What else? You know, Chatterbox is now on TV on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. They gave me the prime time of Tuesdays at 12:30 in the afternoon. The worst time ever. They asked me for like 4 suggestions, and like they chose none of my suggestions. What else? Anything? No. Oh, yeah, don't forget the Sunday's a big flea market for Broadway carers. Get thee to Schubert Alley, like all Sunday. We're selling tons of Broadway DVDs for Broadway carers. My book, my novel, Lily, just came out like this week, so it's all gonna be mailed. Oh my God, I'm always winded. It's gonna be mailed to the Broadway Cares office. I'll be able to sell it there. So yeah, so many DVDs we're selling. And also, you know, there's this crazy celebrity kissing booth, whatever that thing is. Like, pay $20, you get to make out with the star. So whatever the hell that is. All right, so guys, hey, thanks for coming. All right, so let me welcome to the stage, star of 1,000 Broadway shows, yet still has enough to be a teenager, Rihanna style. Please welcome Lea Michele Chatterbox. Lea's not been through Don't Tell Mamas before because she's underage. But,
no, not anymore, not as of last week.
Congratulations, there'll come a time when you're not bragging about your age. Trust me on that one. Hey!
Hi!
Okay, let's go back to the beginning. First of all, Michelle, is that the real last name or his last name like Fleischberg?
No, it's a definite Jewish last name.
I knew it. Join the club.
That
I was going to try Seth Michelle, but it did not work. I had Seth with Rudetsky.
What's your middle name?
Dennis. It's too Irish.
Seth Dennis. Yeah.
It's awful.
Lea Michele. Just so used to it by now.
Why don't you just hyphenate it for the full effect? Anybody?
Yeah.
Maybe we can join AFTRA. Okay, so go. So, grew up where?
New Jersey.
Ouch, what city? I guess applause? 201. Where in Jersey?
Tenafly, New Jersey, right over the George Washington Bridge, like literally first exit right there. And
Is that like West New York?
no, it's still Jersey. It's over the bridge.
Isn't West New York part of New Jersey?
Yeah. But this isn't that.
It's just saying. Okay, how'd you start the Broadway obsession? How old?
8, I did my first show, which was Les Mis.
No. Before then, weren't you interested in Broadway before you got a Broadway show?
No, that was the first thing I ever got. No, that was really the first thing I
What were you doing up until 8? Just like hanging out and you walked into an audition by accident?
Like in the 2nd grade. No, my really good friend at the time, she was a huge theater buff, and she would take me to a bunch of shows. She took me, yeah. No, she took me to see like 2 shows prior to our audition, Phantom and Camelot, and I fell asleep during Camelot.
Yeah, so did I.
And, yeah. And then Phantom, I actually like really loved. I thought it was amazing, and a few weeks later, she was going on an open call for Les Mis in our hometown. We were both 8.
So her parents were taking you. She wasn't like, come with me on the train.
Her parents were taking her.
So like, for the open
in
call.
our hometown, there was an open call. But the night before, her father got ill and was in the hospital, so her mother asked if my mom could take her. So I was like, well, since we're taking her, I'll just do it too.
Didn't you guys see the famed movie with Leroy where he goes with that girl? I mean, come on.
And then they get to the fight in the stairwell.
Didn't you know that was going to happen?
Well, I was just like, I'll do it anyways. I was always like really outgoing in class and like never really like shy to do anything. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I sang a song from Phantom, which we'd just seen.
How did you know it?
I bought the CD and I'd been singing it in my room like constantly, and I just went in there and...
What was it?
No. It was Angel of Music. I sang that, and I
got a call back?
I got a call back. They came out and they told my mother, my little like Italian mom, they were like, yeah, you know, we're going to call her back. My mom's like, yeah, right. If they ever call you back, she's like, this is not going to happen. And they did a week later, and I got it.
What did they tell your friends? Thank you very much.
She didn't get a call back.
Is she still angry?
She's now in college writing sad stories about how her career never
derailed
by me.
Eve Harrington. Wait, so they called you back. What did you have to do for your call back?
Sing again, sing the Castle on a Cloud from Les Mis.
And how did you know? Did you listen to it the whole week before?
Because they'd given me the music to learn, and I sang it with my elementary school music teacher.
Brava.
And she told me in school that day, she was like, now Leah, don't get your hopes up about this. Things like this don't really happen, you know. And it did.
And did you try to imitate the album, and did you use the British accent? Did you have the British version?
No, I didn't even have the album for Les Mis.
Oh, so she literally was just like, I have a cat, pling, 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 pling.
I have she just played it and sang it for me, and I
you
must have just
it?
picked up. No.
And then when you went to the callback, did they give you any notes, like do it this way, do it that way?
Not that I can remember, but it was a long time ago.
Not a long time ago, you mean 10 years.
Over 10 years.
11.
Like,
okay, so
more. I was 8, 30, yeah. I'm 21 now.
Okay, where's the long time ago part? I was literally doing Grease at that point on Broadway.
I know, I was working too when you were doing Grease.
I know, we're talking about a long time ago. I feel like that was yesterday.
I know.
Once you hit 50, everything was past. Anyway, just kidding, people. Alright, it's 50. Okay, so wait a minute. So you got it, and then what did they say? You got the role of what?
I got the role of young Cosette, young Eponine, and I even understudied young Gavroche.
Drag King at 8 years old.
I love it!
And it was Broadway?
Yes, it was the Broadway, the Imperial Theater.
And how did you find out?
Ricky Martin was in it.
Oh, I remember that.
Hello.
When Cosette was like, he loves all the ladies in this cast. He's always dating one. I was like, that's an interesting. How much was she picked? Whatever.
No, he did. He had a 40-year-old girlfriend that I can remember.
A 40-year-old girlfriend?
Yeah.
40?
Yeah, she was older. I remember that. I was so jealous
Did you
because
ever
I
see
had
them?
such a crush on her.
Did you realize that maybe it was inappropriate for you to have a crush on her for various reasons?
I can still have a crush. He can do whatever he wants.
Was it a crush on Tom Cruise? All right, so hold on a second. So wait a minute. When you got the part, how'd you find out? Your mother told you, asked when she met you?
No. They called my mother into the room at the audition.
Was it Richard J?
Yes.
Oh. And he wanted to see everybody start crying. Is that why?
Well, my mother didn't start crying. She turned bright red and she had a panic attack.
Wow.
She wasn't. I did not even know what Broadway was. I had no idea. My father owned a deli. My mom was a nurse, and we really were so, out of the theater. And that's why so many people in the business, like when I was younger, loved my parents because they were just so down to earth and they weren't crazy parents. I could tell you some stories.
Go!
Crazy stories. Just after Les Mis was Ragtime, and by this time I had an agent. I had did Les Mis for like a year and a half, and I left because they told me I'd gotten too old. And literally within a week of leaving Les Mis, I was auditioning for the pre-Broadway company of Ragtime, which was going to be a year in Canada and then move to Broadway. So I was at the audition, and I was with this young girl who had just finished doing Showboat. And there we were waiting in the hallway, and her crazy mother, Louise, who had a wandering eye, we were in the waiting room, and she was, every time the people would leave, the creative team would leave the room, she would position her daughter to face them, so that as they were leaving the room, they
would have
see
a mental
her.
image.
Yes.
Did it work?
Well, she didn't get it.
Exactly.
I did, and that was my second show.
So when you got Les Mis,
Yeah.
Did you know you were going to be doing a show every single night of the week? Did you know what was happening?
Well, there's a video of me on the Sally Jessy show when I was in Les Mis. They had young talent come on, and there I am, all my teeth in my look so awkward, and I'm I don't need a day off. I love performing every night. Now I'm in Spring Awakening. I'm Jonathan, I can't do it. I need to take the night off.
I was do you have any embarrassing videos? You're nope, none.
Nope.
Turns out you got an amazing video you could have brought.
No, they're away. They're not in my apartment with me.
They're 10 minutes away in your parents' house?
No,
that's not 10 minutes away.
They're in the Hamptons.
Some of us are rich. Okay, they're in my mansion. Okay, so hold on a second. So when you committed to doing that, were you something were you homeschooled suddenly or going to
No, I still went to regular school. The only time that I first became homeschooled was when I did the company of Ragtime in Toronto.
When you became born again. Okay, so hold on. Well, it's boring. And kids are homeschooled. Anyway, so hold on a second. When you the name is, who was the Jean Valjean?
I had a bunch. Like Craig Schulman.
Was Judah Fisher doing it then? Oh, that's when I did it. You must have done it right after me. Who was your Fontaine?
We had Paige Davis, maybe.
Paige Davis?
Was it Paige O'Hara? Paige O'Hara.
Paige O'Hara.
Paige O'Hara, and also
Annie McArdle?
No, but her daughter replaced me.
Oh,
Yes.
Replaced by Annie's daughter. Okay, so suddenly you're in a Broadway show. Like, how did you know how to do anything?
It just kind of clicked. It just was one of those things where I was like, I love this. And
so actually was fun.
It was great. I knew from the minute that that's what I wanted to do, and you know, if it wasn't really what I wanted to do, I still wouldn't be doing it. You know, it just happened to be what I was meant to be doing, and that's why I'm still doing it.
And when you were young Cosette, how many shows a week did you do as young Cosette?
You do like a weird rotation system where you're Cosette one night, you're Eponine the next, and then you're an understudy, so you're just backstage, and then you're Cosette, Eponine, understudy. So.
Is it annoying when you're understudy? You're like, oh, go on.
Yeah, I do remember wanting, you know, to be on. I remember that, but you know, I didn't know anything else, kind of. So it's like, yes, this is my job tonight. So it was fine. Really.
Did you ever go on for Get Rush?
I didn't. I didn't.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Okay, any crazy mistakes on stage?
Not in Les Mis that I can remember, but you know, I'm sure I can tell you some stuff from Spring Awakening. Like, I mean, you know, when you have a bigger part, you have more room for more mistakes. But I don't know. You can ask Joanne over here. She's been to our show over 100 times, and she probably can tell you if my show from night to night better than I could.
I just wonder where she gets the money from. Joanne, talk to me privately about producing my next show. Okay, so you did Les Mis for like a year-ish, and then you did it for Ragtime. So you had to go to Canada?
I did. I went to Canada with my mom.
Wasn't she like, hello, I'm a nurse, so I'm going to Canada for a year?
Well, my mom and dad had, you know, like, never gone like anywhere really. But my mom like left her job and she came with me, and my dad stayed at home, and we just did it. You know, I thank them so much for everything. I mean, how could I have done it?
Yeah, they really had to kind of change their lives for you.
Yeah.
So when you got into Ragtime, first of all, did you freak out when you heard that opening number? Wasn't it great?
I remember doing the Sitz Pro.
Sitz Pro is the first time you sing it with the orchestra.
Where you just come in and you sing through, because we learned the music, we learned it with the, you know, musical director, and then all of a sudden this massive orchestra comes in one day and they just surround you and you sit in this huge hall, and Ragtime was like a big deal.
Ragtime was kind of the last of the big orchestra too, until Mamma Mia destroyed it. Like Ragtime had full, amazing, full strength section. It was beautiful. You heard me, 9 people in that orchestra, don't get me started. Ragtime was amazing. It was like 27, it was amazing. Go on.
And hearing that music for the first time. Hi Jamie, hi Paul.
Jamie Kennedy, you punked? Alright, go on.
And when they first, you know, when we heard that music, I knew, but my mom was like, this is something really special. And Ragtime changed my life. Brian Stokes Mitchell came to see me with his wife Allison, who were both in Ragtime with me. They came to see me last night in Spring Awakening, and it's like, I've known these people for years, and that was my education. That was me not needing to go to college, because I had Audrey McDonald, Brian, Marin, Peter all around me teaching me how to sing, how to do everything.
So I remember, because I used to play for that show, and I remember I think I started singing the opening number, and I'm like, oh, she's mute. Aren't you supposed to be sort of like, Father speaks for both of us? And then something like, Ragtime! How was that?
I didn't even think about that. You're totally right.
I was in a range.
I should have just, during the musical numbers, just been sitting there like,
right, exactly.
looking around,
the rest of the show, you were just
singing.
like, uncomfortable. Wait, so what was your part of the opening number? Were you like, did you do like an alto line? Were you soprano?
No, I was high soprano. I was always a high soprano.
Even at age 9? Ragtime!
Yeah, I was always a high soprano, and
Yes.
every time I would come into the first day of musical rehearsal, they'd be like, so what are you? And I remember that. They were like, are you a high? And I don't know anything about music. And I was just like, just the high part, please. And then I would do it, and they'd be so surprised that I actually could.
That's crazy.
As I got older, my voice kind of changed.
Like you and Judy Kay were like, okay, so wait a minute. So what did you learn from watching Audrey McDonald? Well, actually, first was LaChance, wasn't it?
No. Don't say anything like that outside of this theater.
Like, I mean, arts kick? Oh, wait, no, hold on, wait.
No,
Audrey did
LaChance-
Toronto, LaChance did LA.
Yeah, which was a huge controversy that they opened a you know, like show within, you know, the U.S. that wasn't the original company before we opened it on Broadway. That's why Brian Stokes left Canada to go do it in LA for a while, and
He wanted
then
to be the first
he wanted to be
everywhere.
the first one to do it everywhere. But Yeah, it was Audra. And I mean, literally, Audra would, you know, teach me. I remember her showing me how to breathe properly, and I would be warming up and she'd tell me, well, that's a good warm up, but why don't you try like this instead? And I learned things like that from her. You know, I learned a lot of, you know, like really how to be professional from Peter Friedman. I get a lot of my crazy, like, I have to be here at this time and I have to, from him. And then I have a lot of my, like, more laid back stuff from Marin. Like, she really showed me that you can just, like, laugh through it, you know?
Oh, wow, yeah,
So,
that's totally their personalities.
I picked stuff from all of them that I have in me now.
And what about Judy Kaye? She's a great actress.
It was originally Camille Saviola.
Right, she did in the Toronto.
And then it was Judy Kaye after that. And she was wonderful. Did you see her in Sweeney Todd?
No! She
Yeah.
did like 2 weeks stint. No, I heard she was amazing.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting part to put her in, but...
You think she was good?
Well, because Patty was... I thought Patty was good. Oh, she's
She is.
sweet. Thank you.
She's great. She can like sing anything and act anything. She was so depressing was the scene, excuse me. You know, where he's like, you're in my way.
Oh, yeah.
So good. Oh my god, I was obsessed with her. Okay, so hold on. So we Ragtime opened in Toronto. Did you guys get good reviews?
Honestly, as a kid, I didn't even know anything like that existed.
Newspapers?
Like, thanks. I was homeschooled. But like,
Christ existed, yeah.
But like, you know, I didn't know that we got reviewed for doing what we did. I just thought we did it to have fun.
But you came into
You
Les
know.
Mis, because Les Mis had already opened for you.
Yeah,
She was
and
just
then,
like,
but I do remember, the only thing I do remember was that hearing that we didn't get that good reviews for Broadway. I knew that we had mixed reviews, and I was like, even as a little kid, I remember being like, what? Like, I believed so much, and I still do, but I believed so much in that show. And, you know, then I remember the night before the Tony nominations, and I remember the Tonys. I remember those are like my 3 biggest memories from Ragtime.
wasn't it annoying to be on stage for so long and not say anything? Wasn't it annoying to have that much to be focused like
No,
that?
because I still had to, you know, do my fair share of acting with my eyes.
I know, but Norma Desmond style, wasn't it annoying? I don't know, I'd be like, let me say something, man.
No, I managed, you know, I loved it.
You never missed a show. Did you ever miss a show?
Not in Ragtime. I took a vacation and like one day. I didn't ever take a lot of days off.
Yeah, I remember.
As I get older, I realize it's not that big of a deal. Right,
You
Julian?
take
I
days
wasn't
off?
there. I wasn't there Sunday night. I'm sorry.
Really?
No.
She never missed the shows.
Who didn't?
Cheetah.
Oh
And
yeah,
Chelsea
and neither
Nance as well.
did you know.
Ethel,
Hello, Dolly.
Carol.
Cal Channing.
Just saying, 21 if you're
All right, I'll
listening.
start now.
Just saying, 8 shows a week. That's what you pay for. Now then, don't pull Sarah Brightman. Only 6 for what? Singing once? Oh, don't get me started. I was like, wishing you were sometime. I'm out. For what? What was I? Okay, so wait. So Ragtime. Okay, so hold on. So you never did California. You only did
Nope.
Toronto and Broadway.
Toronto for a year, Broadway for a year.
Did you meet Clinton? I remember he came to the show. Oh no, he came to Lion King! And I was in a rage about that. Of all effing shows to go
Well, that was
see.
a really, really hard year. I mean, I remember crying so hard at the Tonys because Lion King and Cabaret took everything. When Peter Friedman lost the Tony, I, like, literally, like, I remember, like, praying to God, being like, well, how could you do this to
Oh my
me?
god, it's really extreme.
Literally,
That's amazing.
I was
though.
so...
He was like your dad.
Yeah, he was. He took me as his date to the Tonys. I mean, like, I was so hurt. And when we lost to the Lion King, that was like a really big deal. And that's what I was so scared of this year with Spring Awakening. You know, like,
Was
I
the
was
Lion
like...
King again?
Well, very common. I was like, oh gosh, what if history repeats itself? And I was really scared because when you believe in something so much, there's so much room to get hurt, you know?
I know, it's
with
so
these
arbitrary
shows.
with the word shows.
And then I did the revival of Fiddler with Alfred
right.
Molina and Randy Graff.
I forgot you did that too. Oh, hold on.
I took a little break in between.
And by little you mean 7 years. Well, hold on a second. We'll go back to Ragtime for a minute. So wait, Ragtime you did a Broadway for how long? You did the
A
whole
year.
run.
Yeah,
You-
no, it was 2 years.
What
But
the
I
hell took over for you?
I don't even
remember.
know. But after I left the first year, I left with Marin, Peter,
Oh,
Audrey. We
everybody.
all left on those.
What about that
same
amazing boy? Where's he? Alex? Was that his name?
Amazing?
Yeah, you heard me. He had a great voice. He had a great voice. Actually, heard his voice unlike somebody on stage. I literally didn't hear you sing till Spring Awakening. I loved his voice. He had sexy vibrato. I mean, it was crazy speaking voice. In 19, I mean, like crazy, like over dictionated. But I loved his voice. What the hell? Wasn't he Canadian?
No.
He's American.
The original was Paul Dano, who went on to do Little Miss Sunshine and all those movies. and then
He was the brother?
No, he was the little boy.
No, I'm saying, but he's a brother.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, he was original?
In Toronto, and then his crazy mother pulled him from the show.
Why? Because she had Wandering Eye also?
No, not that one. No, she was like, he's got to go. He's going to do bigger and better things, which he is. I'm still working 8 shows a week. He's in Oscar movies and all that.
Yeah, but probably some fun movies.
I know.
Okay, so hold on. So you did Ragtime for a year. What about the crazy I'm in jail now producer?
Oh my God, he's not in jail. He's just
Barred from the country.
He's just banned from the country. I mean, we had a lot of. If certain things had been different with Ragtime, the show might still be running. That's all I can say because I didn't understand. You know, all I remember is my parents being like, let's invest in Livent. That was a huge mistake. I mean, everybody was like, let's invest in this company.
That was the producing company, and he essentially lied about the books, Gar Chabinsky, and he wound up being busticated. So your parents lost all that investment money?
A lot of people did in our show because we were like, oh, let's invest in it.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
But I didn't quite understand everything that was going on, but I just sort of feel like if things had been different, it might still, because it's such a great, it should have ran longer, and I think everybody in the show feels the same way.
It wasn't amazing. It was like an old school, old American musical.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so great.
Maybe they'll revive it.
Yeah, well, they keep talking about doing a concert version of it.
They're not, they wanted to do that with the entire original company.
Yeah, what happened to that?
That's not happening.
Not cool.
But maybe with new people, which would be great. They need new people.
You
know?
I live in the past. All right, so then, so you quote-unquote took a break. Doing any high school shows?
Well, after Ragtime, I came in and I was like, okay, I'm going to be like a normal kid for a while. I was in junior high and in high school, and that's when I started with Spring Awakening, which took up a long time. I left Ragtime when I was 12, almost 13, and I started Spring Awakening when I was 14.
That's appropriate.
So, but I didn't, I mean, obviously not all the stuff that you see in the show now, we did not do in the workshops. But that's when I first started, and I did all those workshops, and then I got.
How did they find you? Did you audition?
I did audition for them.
And what did you sing?
I sang.
House on a Cloud?
No. They wanted me to sing a pop rock song, and here I am. I just did Ragtime and Les Mis. I didn't really know pop music, so I sang "I Don't Know How to Love Him" from Jesus Christ Superstar. And then they were like,
'72. Okay.
They were like, "Can you sing, a pop song?" And I was like, I can sing Britney Spears, and I did. I know.
Oops, you did it again? Or
yeah, I did it. I was like, yeah. I was so stupid and, cocky. I was like, yeah, I'll sing it and I'll dance. And I did the whole dance routine for them. Yep.
At 14?
Yes.
That's appropriate. No wonder you got the part. Okay. Okay, so hold on. So you auditioned for, who were you auditioning for? Duncan Sheik?
Duncan, Michael, Steven. Those were the original 3.
And then after you auditioned, what was that? What were you actually auditioning for?
I was auditioning for the same, for a workshop through the Roundabout.
Oh,
and Spring Awakening kind of got, stopped a couple times because it was supposed to do this workshop at the Roundabout and then go to the Roundabout Theater, but then 9/11 happened.
That's how long ago it was?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. And it really, stopped our,
momentum
process. People, didn't want to put the money into this show. They didn't, because no one was really going to theater and they weren't going to go see, But it was good because we needed more time and the show needed to be perfected, and it took us this long, and luckily I'm still with it.
Were you the only original cast member left?
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I'm the only one that's done it for everyone else is. We only have 2 other cast members, Skylar and John Gallagher, that did the concert at Lincoln Center 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago. But other than that, I'm the only one.
How weird that when you were able to be so young in the role and you could still look the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty unbelievable that someone starting it so young would still stay in a show.
It's a little Carol Channing-esque, but it still works. I'm still doing Dolly. You're at 90. Okay. Okay, so talk about Fiddler. What did you sing for that audition?
For Fiddler, I went in, I sang...
What the? Is that a self-one? It's the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life. Or is it like the orchestra from Ragtime? What is that?
I sang... I sang If I Loved You for that.
I don't know, I love him, if I loved you. Wait! Oh, I thought you meant duet. Do I what?
No.
All right, if I loved you. I was like, a duet? Oh, if I love you.
Yeah.
And you were auditioning for Bugle or
No.
Spritz?
Well, I was auditioning for Sprinza, and I ended up playing Sprinza and Hava, and then replacing and playing Hava for a while.
Wow. So
Yeah.
wait, so you got the gig, and you began rehearsals with it was a whole original cast, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That must have been fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really great. I mean, I'd taken a break for a little while, and it was kind of that deciding factor because this is right when I was deciding if I was going to go to college or not, and I ended up getting it, and then that's when I kind of said, like, okay, like, this is what I was going to do. That's what Fiddler was for me. You know, I'd taken this break, and I could do the show, or I could go to college, and I'd gotten into Tisch, I'd gotten into the Cap 21 program, and I decided to not only just be in Fiddler, but to be in this business. So
did you take lessons on the side?
Yeah, I did. I still do.
What do you take?
I take my singing classes and my acting classes. And
you take dance?
I don't.
Okay. You do the Britney dance, so you need to know?
It's
It's amazing.
this.
Flash,
Yeah, all
exactly.
you need to know.
And schoolgirl. Okay, so Fiddler rehearsals, did you think the show was great when you were rehearsing it? Have you ever like seen the movie or anything?
I had seen the movie when I got the part, but in the rehearsals for Fiddler, I mean, everybody made such a controversy that this was like the anti-Fiddler. It was like the non-Jewish Fiddler, but I didn't realize that. Like while we were doing it, it was the only Fiddler that I'd ever known, so I thought it was great.
You thought it was normal that they all went to church?
I thought it was normal that there was like Sally Murphy and all these Irish people and things like that. I was like, yeah, this is great, and then people would say things to me, and then one day I come back to work and I look around and I'm like, you guys aren't Jewish.
Randy Graff was Jewish.
Yeah, she was, and I'm half Jewish, and Molly Ephraim, who was Little Red in Into the Woods, she played Bialka. She was Jewish. So
But was it
there were
decidedly-
some Jews in there, but
I didn't actually see that. I saw when Harvey came in.
Yeah.
So I never saw the full non-Jewish version.
yeah. Well,
But
Harvey was good,
Yeah, I thought Harvey was good, and then it was.
and
then,
Rosie.
Yeah, so Harvey and Andrea, and then.
Yeah,
Harvey.
Andrea I thought was great. I love her.
Yeah,
She's
great.
amazing.
Andrew Martin.
From Big Fat Greek Wedding.
From SCTV, my favorite year. Reference from a year ago. Okay, so hold on. So Fiddler, the set was amazing. Orchestra was actually a nice sized orchestra too for that show.
Beautiful orchestrations, awesome set with the trees and stuff like that. I thought it was really great.
And it was your first time understudying a big part like that.
Yep, it was my first time being an understudy. I was in the ensemble basically, but I understudied this role, and I went on, and a lot of the cast members were like, "Oh my gosh, we had no idea." Like,
You had any talent?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, bye-bye.
And I played that part, and then after that I went out of town. I did the Diary of Anne Frank in Washington D.C.
The musical?
No.
That actually was a really good show. Did you ever hear see that Anne Frank musical? Yours and it was so good with Trini Alvarado.
Really?
Yeah, everyone's always like, ha ha. I'm like,
But how could they sing? Weren't they supposed to be really quiet?
they weren't right. So what? I mean, like, they weren't really
What were these
singing.
like dream sequences where they had like their
they were
dreams of
expressing their
performing these
feelings.
huge?
They weren't doing step kicks.
They were tapping on the
expressing
floor.
feelings.
Expressing
Man,
feelings.
you heard me. Anyway, it was a good show. Okay, so hold on. So you did the Fiddler with Harvey. What was Harvey like to work with? I'm sure he took over that whole stage.
He was very different from Alfred.
In terms of what?
Alfred Molina. Well, Alfred was a lot quieter, and Harvey was wonderful. I thought that Harvey's just ridiculously talented, and I loved. I wasn't there with him for a long time, but
He doesn't miss shows either.
never,
Yeah, he's very, very old
never,
school.
ever was in a
How about
show.
that? Okay, so hold on. So you left Fiddler because why?
Because I got in Frank.
Oh, that's a good part. And where was it? What theater?
It was at the Roundhouse Theater
What city
in
is it?
Bethesda, Maryland.
Oh, was it hard to memorize all that shit?
Yes, it was. But I would write things down in my journal, like
Oh,
my
your lines?
Yeah. I remember that in my diary.
As they say. Okay, so that's a good gig. And then what
Yeah.
happened after you left that? How'd
Well,
you
that
miss-
was kind of like a really big learning experience for me. That was like my real first, no singing. It was all about, I couldn't be like, you want to know how I feel? Well, let me sing it for you. It's a lot harder, especially when you're mainly a singer. But that was really great. And while I was in, Maryland, the concert for Spring Awakening was happening, and I get all these emails from these little girls being like, "Oh, I'm auditioning for your part for Spring Awakening," and I called Michael Mayer and was like, "Look, I still look the same. Like, you have to see me. Like, you have to let me come in for this." And when I did, he was like, "You're right." And he booked me, he hired me, he hired John Gallagher, and he hired Skylar. We did the concert. Then we had like a year
What was
break.
the purpose of the concert?
The purpose of the concert was to really get the investors like, you know, Ira Pittleman, Tom Hulse, and all the other 2,500 producers that we have. But it also introduced us to the Atlantic Theater, and that's how, you know, we're here because of the Atlantic Theater. If it weren't for them, you know.
You never have it. And then was it just the songs of the show, or did you describe the story?
No, it was you know, a whole workshop. It wasn't, you know, staged, but it was the entire show, you know, the script.
It was called a concert. It was a concert version.
And, you know, we did that. We got our backers for the Atlantic, and a year later, I was auditioning again for them.
Auditioning? You actually watched the tape of my concert,
No,
bitches.
they made me re-audition every single time.
And what did you kept going in and being like, I don't know how to love.
No, I mean, they would ask me to bring in my own stuff, and then they'd obviously ask me to sing stuff from the show. But, you know, the final time, I was there, and Jonathan Groff was there, and, you know, but you know, that's when we first met, and we were the last ones there at the end of the day with John Gallagher and fun fact, Gideon Glick, who ended up becoming Ernst, but they were considering him originally for Moritz. He was there as well, and John and I, they were like, well, you guys just wait in the back of the room for a minute. So here we are sitting in the back of the room, and there's the creative team over there, and we like turned to each other, and we were like, I really want you to get, like, I want to do this with you, you know, and I mean, you know, I found out that I got it the next day, and I'm like, well, who got Melchior? And they're like, Jonathan Groff. And I was like, what was the name of that boy I was sitting in the back of the room with? And I didn't remember if it was that Jonathan or not, so it wasn't until the first day of rehearsal that I was like, it's you.
Have you seen In My Life?
Oh, no. No,
no. Just wondering. By the way, did you read on all that chat that In My Life is happening again? You're like, we've snagged the rights to the first production since Broadway. It's like happening in Chicago or something. Yeah.
$15?
Yeah, $15 seats. $15 too much.
Where are they doing that? Where are they doing that?
Chicago? Is it
Chicago.
Exactly.
Cicero.
It's some small theater. I mean, I can't discover, it wasn't the worst I've ever seen. It was just what's happening. The whole thing was like, what's happening? I mean, I've definitely seen worse shows, definitely, than In My Life.
What was worse?
I won't say. It's nice to say. Well, I'm not that mean, but I've seen worse shows. Anyway, okay, so I was just like, please keep me awake with some coffee. You know, the biggest in my life the whole time I was so much in a state of shock that it kept me awake. Because I was like, he's a skeleton? Like, I was like, what's being brain operated on? Like, I just couldn't believe what was happening. What you say? It was entertaining. Well, no bullshit. Alright, so wait. So Jonathan Groff got it too, and then you got it, and then this was just for the Atlantic Theater. Did you have any aspirations of us going to move to Broadway, or you're just like, it's another gig?
No, I was so happy that it was finally being staged, and that was good enough for me. You know, I was like, I guess I didn't put two and two together, like, oh wow, we could be off Broadway and then get picked up for Broadway, because I was just finally happy that Spring Awakening was going to be somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know.
You don't have any aspirations. Had you read the book?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, for years.
So what do you think about the whole controversy? What's his name? Jonathan Franzen, is that his name? So I didn't read the, you know, he has the new version of Spring Awakening coming out. Is that his name, the guy with the corrections?
Really?
You didn't read about it. He was like, he got some book deal, right? Translation, and he sort of like was dishing the Broadway production. And I haven't read the original play, but he was saying that Wendla's rape in the book is like devastating, and on Broadway it's treated as like a love-making scene. So like, what do you think about that? Is that true?
I mean, it definitely was changed in the book. It's a rape, and on stage it's, you know, but.
So it's a rape in the book, and then what happens? Then like, but then he really is in love with Wendla?
Well, it's kind of confusing in the book because she ends the first act by saying no, but she loves him, and she realizes that what they did was, you know, afterwards. But that's kind of hard to. What we're doing is just so much like easier, and it really just explains our characters. You know, it tells the audience what we're kind of thinking in our heads a little bit.
So, well, how do you play that? What, are you not willing at the end of Act 1? Like,
no, I'm willing.
So it's not really, it's not great.
No, not at all.
Okay, so yeah, I guess he was just saying that it's been modified for Broadway. He doesn't like modifications, but I understand why you guys modified it. No one really wants to root for Jonathan Groff if he really raped you.
Yeah, it's hard to. You know, really feel for the character of Melchior that way.
Yeah, it's alright, he needs to bug off. Okay, so when did they first tell you that the old Bubetta McGee was going to be popping out?
Oh, I found a note on my table one day from Michael Mayer after the opening off Broadway saying, "We should see your breast." And then
That was his way of dropping the bomb on you?
Yeah.
Love Michael?
Yeah.
Not even like, good luck tonight. Alright, go on.
Well, then I walked down the stairs with the note in my hand, and he's like on his BlackBerry, and I'm like, I got this. And he's like, yeah, can you do this tonight? You'll do this tonight? Great, excellent. And leaves. So I go to Jonathan, and I'm like, I got this. And he's like, okay. He's like, are you okay with that? I'm like, sure. And I did it. And that's how Michael gets us to do this stuff, which really isn't that big of a deal.
Did Jonathan show you a note saying we should see your ass?
No.
Wait, so how did you decide how it was going to happen?
We just did it.
Was the whole rest of the cast like...
Yeah, well, I told them, I was like, you're going to see my boob tonight.
Did you have any time to go like sun tanning quickly?
No.
I was just wondering. Wait, were your parents in the audience?
When my parents, I made an agreement with them off Broadway because the theater was so small. I made an agreement with the company that the nights that my parents would come, I wouldn't expose myself. But now that it's Broadway and it's so big, if you sit 4 rows back, you don't see anything.
Sweet. So you don't want your parents to be traumatized. That's sweet.
Not at least until we got to Broadway. Then once we got to Broadway, I was like,
you didn't even leap. Okay, so when you first played, what was the audience reaction like when you first opened Atlantic?
Amazing. The audiences at the Atlantic were wonderful, and
that's what's so exciting because no one knew what the hell to expect. So
yeah.
Especially you guys, weren't you just like, is this gonna suck? Like, what did you think about it?
I always thought it was gonna be great. For me, it's like I had such passion, that I was like, this is gonna be, great. And we just got great reviews. Like everything just, happened.
Was Kim Grigsby music directing then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She did the concert. She did everything.
I'm impressed by how you guys sort of riff in the exact same rhythm. It's all like specific.
Well, that's Anne-Marie Milazzo. She does all of our musical arrangements.
Oh, so
vocal arrangements.
But like in terms of like your, like in terms of like how you actually riff, because she writes down those rhythms. That's how
she writes down like dots, like literally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's so specific. You guys are so together.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. And how'd you snap? Oh, you're right. You did this because in Bethlehem. You did ask for the top part in that because you're on the E.
Well, they always just give me the top part generally.
Like I'm the lead. Okay, so what's your subtext on that whole opening number when you're like, I like my body?
Well, she's basically just looking at herself in the mirror and looking at her body as it's changing, sort of, for the first time.
And exploring it. It's very, what's your name? Anne Frank, like my body is changing.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, there was a monologue in Anne Frank with her body changing. It was also in the Yours and CD. So my friend Tim had it on his answer machine. It was like, my body's changing. I was like, so I'm not here, leave me a message. And I was like, anywho. Okay, so there's also, speaking of all that chat, there was a whole long post about songs that don't rhyme. So what's your take on that? Spring Awakening's full of it.
Oh, well, I think that's fine. Like, I think it's great. Steven Sater's lyrics are like poetry, and our songs fit within our show, and they fit with outside of our show, and
So you're not a musical theater purist, as it were.
Well, I am for certain shows that wouldn't be right for Spring Awakening, though.
Is it so pop oriented, you think?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it for now. Breasts. Does not rhyme. Okay, whatever. We'll get back to you on that. I don't know how hard it is. Whatever. I'll get back to you. Okay, so audiences are loving it, and then let me ask you something. So how did you find out to Broadway, and did those bitches make you try out one more time? Because that is not cool.
No, not at all. But I'd been offered the part of Eponine in the Broadway company of the revival for Les Mis. And so I was like, okay, so I'm just going to go, once this closes off Broadway, and I'm going to go play Eponine. And
what was your audition for that like?
My audition for it was great. It was wonderful.
How many auditions?
Just 2.
What did you have to sing on my own?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Yeah, like everything. I sang
really?
everything. Mm-hmm. And it was great.
Even
yeah, everything. And so I did that.
And who was there when you auditioned? Like
John Keard and Cameron and
Did you know them from when you were a kid?
Never met them before.
Oh, how weird.
So I ended up getting that, and so I figured, okay, when Spring Awakening closes, I'll just go on and do Les Mis. But then we found out we were coming to Broadway, so then...
You're like, which Broadway show do I choose? Oh my god, it's the worst problem ever! Why is my life like this?
It was pretty amazing. And so, I chose Spring Awakening.
Originating role so much better.
Yeah, I felt that after being with this role for so long, I had to stick with it.
Yeah, can you imagine if Brittany Murphy as one, like, we devastated.
Oh god, it would be really hard if,
But how, David? Well, maybe things will run long enough. I guess you can. Like, why would you want to leave Spring Awakening?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna, Jonathan Groff and I are gonna stay in Spring Awakening together for a while, but once that's done, I'd love to get a chance to go over into it for sure.
Gotcha. All right. So, first of all, what time is it before we go on? Do we both have to go to half hour? I'm nervous.
5:06.
4 to 7. Okay, so like 2 more minutes, then we'll sing. Okay, so
It's
first of all,
6:45?
yeah.
Oh, that's
Just to
fine.
get it there. Okay, so first of all, Tony night. How excited were you?
Oh my gosh, Tony night was amazing. I mean, first of all,
Was Peter Freeman your Pete?
Oh, no. It was so amazing getting all of our Tony nominations. That morning was so overwhelming. And, then going to the Tonys the whole day was such a blur. And, starting our number, singing was just incredible. And that whole night, things like that don't happen. Like,
Did you have to rehearse in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
Did you rehearse in the morning and then you had to do your matinee?
Mm-hmm.
So weren't the whole matinee, weren't you like...
I was so scared. Well, yeah, I mean, but I was so nervous that I don't even remember. And that morning, Jonathan Groff, on the way to Radio City, pulled his back out, and he was like on the floor in Radio City, couldn't move. I was having panic attacks. It was awful, so terrible.
How did he get his back? Does he still need a massage? Because I'm
Oh, you're massage.
I could be and stuff.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna tell him that you said that.
And silence your microphone. Okay, so you're freaking out. So then you showed up. First of all, who did your dress?
My dress was by a designer called Phe, P-H-E, which I styled and I designed and I made.
Did it have a retractable? Based on your role.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Crazy Velcro?
But it was awesome. It was such a great night, and when we won, and when John Gallagher won, I mean, it was unbelievable.
It was like the total opposite of ragtime.
Well, kind of.
Well, because you had your hopes up.
It was the night that should have been for ragtime.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm with you. I'm still devastated.
But it was amazing, but for me, that night was so crazy. But the next day was even better.
What?
Monday night,
Ticket
Monday
sales?
Joanne.
Oh, you had a show? How
Yeah, the
crazy was that
day
shit?
after was unbelievable. Standing on that chair at the beginning of the show, and the whole audience, the orchestra stood, and everybody just applauded, and I just stood there. I was like, "Yep,
Oh,
let's
that's
hear it." Like 7 years
So many
working on a
years,
show,
yeah.
and I was like, that's what really meant a lot, because the whole Tonys were such a blur.
I mean, it's one thing to get a Broadway show, but to get a Broadway show that's like the hit of the season.
Yeah, it's pretty
so fun.
unbelievable. And now we're just like running, and now like all that's over, but we were really still, as a cast,
Close.
doing our
How do you keep
thing.
the show fresh?
Kim Grigsby really helps to keep our show fresh, our music director. We're constantly in there with music rehearsals, but also we have a lot of new cast members coming. Some people are leaving to go do movies and coming back, so we'll always have,
That keeps it
because we love the show and because it's so fun to do. And
Isn't it so heavy to have to deal with the whipping and the thising and the batting and the death and
no,
the rape
it's totally
and the breast?
true. I mean, at the beginning, my friends will tell you I would be like a mess after the show. Not like a mess, but I'd just be like, I didn't know how to leave that behind. But I think I'm really so much better now of, that's done. And
Now it's party. I hear you. Okay, so how long are you planning to stay with the show?
definitely at least for another 6 or 7 months, something like that, for sure.
I was there the night that the swatch broke.
Oh my gosh, when that happens, it's so scary.
Because what's scary? Because it's gonna hurt
Because
more.
I don't know we don't know, what do you do when it breaks? What do? Do you just stop? But no, we have an extra one lying
Oh,
around
you
just
do?
in case, yeah.
Stay right there.
Yeah, you know what happens, it really does have to happen.
It's awkward. Okay, so before Lea leaves, we thought we would recreate the song that was not meant to be this year, but perhaps might in the future. So hold the phone, let me go to the piano.
Might need water.
No, I'm good. Hopefully. If this sucks, then you could say, thank God she chose to Spring Awakening. It's in the back. That was the original book that I bought when I got it when I was 8. I know. Okay, no, not this one. Screw you! You suck! I'm like, what? I'm not ready for this. I'll make you sing Grease.
Hello.